My Weird School. Fast Facts. Dogs, Cats, and Dung Beetles. Written by Dan Gutman. Pictures by Jim Pelot. The beginning. My name is Professor AJ, and I know everything there is to know about animals. The first thing you need to know about animals is this. Animals are weird. You don't believe me? Maybe a few fast facts will convince you. When some snails lose an eye, they can grow a new one. Leopard seals don't have ears on their head. Penguins have knees. Octopuses have 9 brains and 3 hearts. Crocodiles can't stick out their tongues. A starving mouse will eat its own tail. Manatees swim by farting. Wait a minute, we're not going to talk about farting and disgusting things like that in this book. Remember we talked about that? Oh no, it's Andrea Young, that annoying girl in my class with curly brown hair. Who invited you into my book, Andrea? It's our book, Arlo. It's not your book. We're supposed to talk about animals together. Remember? This is our special project for the Gifted and Talented program. Bummer in the summer. Why can't a chuck full of gifted and talented animals fall on your head? Okay, I'll hold my tongue. See, I'm holding my tongue. But sit back and enjoy the weirdest, wackiest fast facts about animals in the history of the world. Sincerely, Professor AJ, the Professor of Awesomeness. The Professor of Obnoxiousness is more like it. Don't worry, I won't let Arlo talk about gross stuff and things that are inappropriate for children. Somebody's got to be matured around here. Andrea Young, PhD. I'm going to Harvard someday. Chapter 1. Dogs. We should start with dogs because lots of kids have dogs and dogs are cool. Did you know that dogs have nose prints just like people have fingerprints? You can even identify your dog by its nose print. French poodles didn't come from France, they came from Germany. Dalmatians aren't born with spots. They're completely white at birth. The spots start to show up when they're about 10 days old. The shoulder blades on a dog are not tightly attached to the rest of its skeleton. That makes it easier for the dog to run. Do you know why male dogs raise their leg while peeing on a tree? They want other dogs to think they're bigger. Some wild dogs in Africa even run up tree trunks while they're peeing. No pee facts, Arlo. We talked about this. Okay. The oldest dog in the history of the world was an Australian cattle dog named Bluey. He lived almost 30 years, from 1910 to 1939. The smallest dog ever was a Yorkshire Terrier. It was less than 3 inches tall and less than 4 inches from nose to tail, and it weighed only 4 ounces. It must have been adorable. The biggest dog in the history of the world was Zorba, an English Mastiff. He weighed 343 pounds and was 8 feet 3 inches from the tip of his nose to the tip of his tail. You may have heard that you should never feed chocolate to a dog. Here are some other foods that might make your dog sick. Macadamia nuts, corn on the cob, grapes, raisins, onions, tobacco, or anything with caffeine. When the famous ship, the Titanic, sank, 3 of the survivors were dogs. 2 of them were Pomeranians. The third was a Pekingese. They weren't all small dogs, so probably nobody noticed when they were carried onto the lifeboats. Dogs can see in the dark, and they have 3 eyelids on each eye. When dogs sweat, it comes out the pads of their feet. We have about 9,000 taste buds. Dogs have less than 2,000. But don't feel bad for dogs. Their sense of smell is 10,000 times stronger than ours. In 2015, lampposts were falling down in San Diego. You'll never believe why. Dogs were peeing on them, and a chemical in the urine was rotting the metal. Also, when dogs poop, they like to choose their direction based on the Earth's magnetic field. Arlo, what did we say about peeing and pooping? Okay. The Norwegian Lundhut is the only dog that has 6 toes on each foot. A Great Pyrenees named Duke has been the mayor of Cormorant, Minnesota, for 3 consecutive terms. A German shepherd named Orient walked over 2,000 miles on the Appalachian Trail. The really amazing part is that Orient was a seeing eye dog, and his owner, Bill Irwin, was the first blind man to make that trip. In 2013, a service dog named Kirsch got an honorary master's degree from Johns Hopkins University. Kirsch got it because he attended all his owner's classes. He even wore a cap and gown for the ceremony. There are more dogs in the United States than in any other country in the world. But in Iran, owning a dog is against the law. In the song A Day in the Life, the Beatles included a whistle that only dogs can hear. In 2003, in Berlin, Germany, a lost dachshund was found inside the stomach of a giant catfish. It had been swallowed whole. By the way, do you know what you call a fish that's missing an eye? A British scientist invented the wagometer, a machine that indicated a dog's mood by the way it wagged its tail. The machine was attached to the back of a dog, and it measured the speed and direction of the wagging. Side-to-side wagging meant the dog was happy. When the tail went straight up with just a tiny wag at the tip, that meant the dog was about to attack. Speaking of dog machines, back in 1897, many homes didn't have electricity. So Sears Roebuck sold a dog power machine. It was basically a treadmill for dogs that could be connected to any device that required turning, like a butter churn or a washing machine. When the dog walked on the treadmill, it made the machine turn. For big jobs, you could buy a 2-dog treadmill. When the German Countess Carlotta Liebenstein died in 1991, she left $80 million to her dog. It's no longer alive, but the dog's son is so rich that he owns villas in Italy and the Bahamas. In 2000, he purchased Madonna's Miami Beach mansion for $7.5 million. Weird mixed breed dog names. Bully Pitsky, American Bully and Siberian or Alaskan Husky. Frog, French Bulldog and Pug. Woodle, Poodle and Wheaten Terrier. Bernedoodle, Bernese Mountain Dog and Poodle. Barking around the world. Dogs don't always go bow wow or woof woof. Here's what people say in other languages to describe the sound dogs make. By the way, do you know how to stop a dog that's barking in the back seat of your car? Weird dog laws. In Oklahoma, dogs can't gather in groups of 3 or more on private property unless they have a permit signed by the mayor. In Normal, Illinois, it's against the law to make faces at dogs. In Anchorage, Alaska, you can't tie your pet dog to the roof of a car. In Little Rock, Arkansas, dogs aren't allowed to bark after 6 o'clock. In Hartford, Connecticut, you aren't allowed to educate a dog. In Chicago, Illinois, it's illegal to give a dog whiskey. In Galesburg, Illinois, you can't keep a smelly dog. In Northbrook, Illinois, it's against the law for a dog to bark for more than 15 minutes.